Tamima, and this is Speak Life. We need to talk. Childhood trauma. Some of the ways we live today. The way we love, the way we react, the way we protect ourselves didn't start today. They started somewhere. For many of us, that somewhere was childhood. A place that was supposed to feel safe. But for most people, it felt like chaos, silence, pressure, or even absence. So we adapted. We became strong too early, independent too quickly, guarded without realizing it. But what happens when those survival patterns follow you into adulthood? Today on the show, we are not asking what's wrong with you. We are asking what happened to you. Welcome to Speak Life. Today on the show, we'll be delving deep into the heavy but necessary topic. Childhood trauma. I have my guests with me in studio. They'll be sharing their stories. I also have with me experts who will be helping us learn, relearn around how we can have practical tools to help us deal with childhood trauma. So right now, allow me to introduce my first guest. I have with me Kennedy. Kennedy, welcome to Speak Life.
Thank you so much.
I also have Win Rose. Welcome to Speak Life.
Thank you.
So first of all, thank you so much for coming on and agreeing to share your stories. So on this show, I have experts. I have Grace Kinuthia, who is an expert psychologist. And I also have Julia, who's a counselor. So I want to very quickly, at the top, just to set the tone around the discussions that we'll be having, I want to put a disclaimer out there. This might be an uncomfortable, in some cases, even a triggering show. But remember, this is a space where we believe that words and conversation are actually a tool that we can use to inspire, heal, and also empower you. So let me invite Grace.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Childhood trauma, frame it for us.
I'll separate the two words, childhood and trauma. So because they're two different terms, childhood is basically you below 18 as per the Kenyan constitution. Then there's trauma whereby this is a reaction to past events, emotionally, mentally, or physical things that have happened that stay longer past the event. And in most cases now, trauma is the negative impact. So now childhood trauma are the negative impact or long-term impact from now the things that happen during your childhood, emotionally, physically, or even mentally.
So this is obviously a very sensitive and heavy topic, but in your opinion, as a trained psychologist, someone who's practicing and you're dealing with people every single day, why would you say this is a necessary topic for the average individual to reflect on?
Ideally, past a couple of years of practice, over a decade, you find that most of the time, even when you're dealing with adults, they still go back to their childhood. So you find most of the people, if their childhood was okay or averagely okay, they wouldn't be in therapy, we wouldn't be having relationship issues, we wouldn't be having a projection, especially of mental health issues, which are caused mostly by what we call ACEs, part of childhood trauma, advanced childhood experiences, that now lead to other depression, anxiety, panic attacks, etc. So this is an important topic because once you're able to unpack, reparent, you're able to have the preventive care, you're able to learn how you project and how you show up and what you can do and how to get help and how to, take it a day at a time.
Okay, so you've had that. Once you're able to unpack, reparent, remember a lot of the times when you're, struggling through something, and for most people who've been through therapy, will tell you that a lot of the times you'll realize you're not broken, you're actually patterned. So through this particular episode, I hope that we can perhaps teach you practically how you can start working your way towards your healing. So I want to start with ladies first, Windrose.
Yeah.
So as we talk about childhood trauma, what is that one thing that when you look at your childhood, you say, hey, this happened to me and that was heavy?
When I was 17 years, I saw my neighbor was attacked by the robbers, and not even just attacking him, they killed him together with his wife. That thing affected me until now.
So how old were you when this was happening again?
I was 17.
17.
Yeah.
And were you the only one who witnessed this? Were there other people around you who witnessed this?
I was alone because my parents were not at home. They were traveled. So I was just alone.
Oh, so you in your home? Alafu unaona kwa jirani?
Yeah.
So wezi wakakuja kwa jirani?
Yeah, walikuja. So that noise ndio ilifanya nikaamuka. Yeah, nikaenda nikachungulia kwa dirisha and I saw mlango ilikuwa imefunguliwa. Then wakaenda ndani, wakawaua alafu wakawatupa nje.
And as a 17-year-old girl, you're seeing all this happening?
Yeah, I saw.
Real time?
I wanted to scream, but I remember if I scream, watu watanikujia pia mi waniue. So I just kept quiet until morning.
And you were by yourself in the house?
Yeah, I was alone.
So you had to stay there
the
whole night?
Yeah, I stayed there the whole night until morning.
Terrified, petrified?
Yeah.
And so eventually in the morning, what did you do?
Okay, in the morning, I went to my auntie's place and then I told her what had happened. But the body was taken to the mortuary. She was not she was not aware with the story. Yeah.
And so afterwards, how did you cope? How did you deal with that trauma?
Okay, first of all, when I shared with my auntie the same day, she told me to go to guiding and counseling before we go home, but I refused.
Why? Why did you refuse?
Because I thought watu walikuwa wameshaniona na watanikujia tena juu hata hiyo instance kwenye ili hapenia sikufika tena. Until the day waliwazika ndio nilienda huko.
So you stayed at your aunt. That's how
traumatized you were. I stayed there.
And how did it affect you? Because already you're telling us you couldn't go back home. You were in fear that the people would come and, get rid of you. And did you share like what you saw, or were you also scared to share that?
Okay, I just shared with my aunt the same day, but a few days my parents came back. Then I shared with them.
And did you ever talk to the police about it?
No, I just kept quiet.
Once, when your aunt suggested you go for therapy and you're like, I don't think it's necessary, you're saying that was highly motivated by fear.
According to me, I thought it will not help me because I don't understand the benefit of going to guiding and counseling because I was still young. But as for now I'm seeing the benefit.
So to date, would you say you're in a better place after getting therapy?
Yeah, I'm trying, but I'm not that better, but I'm trying to overcome it.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you.
Let me go to you, Kennedy. So Kennedy, you tell us that your childhood was very tough.
Yeah.
You grew up in a very unsafe home. Maybe you can just share that.
For me, first of all, I want to say thank you for giving us this platform because our story matters as boys and girls, as men and women. For me, I'm a victim of words, and worstly, it comes from my a close person to me, and it really haunted me, like words like nothing can come out. Hakuna kitu mzuri inaweza kuja kutoka kwako, like wewe na unakuwa mjinga sana, and inaanzanga tu pole pole. I came to realize inaanzanga pole pole hizo vitu, and then there is this kudifferentiatiwa. Unaambia huwezi kuwa kama ule, huwezi fanya kama huyu, and it is something that affects people sana juu mimi naweza sema ilini affect sana in terms vitu mingi sana.
So tell me a little bit about your family. How many kids was your dad, your father, your mother? What kind of environment was the home environment?
Actually, the main cause for the words ilikuanga ni juu ya hawayuko pamoja, they separated kitambo. Na saa juu hiyo separation yao ilikuwa sasa hiyo machungu ilikuwa inaletwa kwangu.
Your parents separated and
yes.
You ended up living with which parent?
My mom, but iko time my dad nikiwa mdogo, he tried coming for me and to create the bond na mimi, lakini at that time madhe hakukubali. Pia hiyo ni challenge, naweza ambia pia wazazi sometimes msinyime the dads or the moms like the separate nini hiyo ruhusa juu maybe hiyo time ingekuwa more. But pia challenge nyingine yenye haiko ni bamba time alipata chance ya kukua na mimi hakuutilize vizuri.
Now your father.
Yes, my father.
So they are living separately with your mother. Occasionally, he gets chances to see you, so you go to his household.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about feeling unsafe as a child, first of all, what was your relationship with your mother? Like, was she more safe, more positive?
Yes, she was so alikuwa msee close to me. She was so close. She supported my talents. Nilikuwa na dance. I was going, nilikuwa kila kitu nikipitia nilikuwa namwambia. Now compared to my dad, sasa yeye kwanza kitu ya kwanza dance hakuwa kitu inamuingia. Yeye alikuwa shanga hizi ni manini unafanya.
So at what age were you when all this was happening?
It started when I was in class 8. I guess that was 13 years.
So a teenager?
Yes, a teenager. Yeah.
And this went on for how long?
Till 17. That is why now I niliamua mimi mwenyewe sasa ni mimi nijiondoe kwanza. I create a space for me.
So you left home?
Yes, I left home and
you stopped having a relationship with your father?
Yes, there's a moment tulinyamaziana when I was form 2. Tulinyamaziana for like 1 year. Lakini fees analipa, but actually for now naweza kwambia I can count days we laugh with my dad up to now, but I'm praying to God pia tukuje siku moja tuelewane na yeye.
So until today that relationship is still broken?
Bado kuko na hizo words haja change sana, but at least the more na change the more tunaelewana. And there is this burden of my family. I really pray for them to understand my assignment as a son.
And do you have other siblings?
Yes, I have.
Are you the oldest? Are you the youngest?
It's kind of complicated. Naweza sema kwa my dad na mom niko peke yangu. Kwa my dad wale najua tuko wawili. Kwa my mom niko like it's complicated.
So if you look at your dad, was he the same way with the other children, or that was just with you?
About words, naweza sema it's a pattern actually.
So he was like that with all the children in the household.
Ni venye sasa yangu ilikuwa so much juu ni mimi tumekaa naye sasa hiyo, alafu yangu ilini affect sana juu siku mu experience nikiwa mdogo. Nimekuja saa kukaa naye ikiwa sasa hiyo 13 years sasa ndo tumekaa saa vizuri.
And it was a shock because your mom is a very safe, warm, loving.
Exactly.
Then overnight, you're going to mtu mwenye they are very rough.
And then kwanza in our house kulikuwa na rule ilikuwa hivi. Hakuna kuona TV ikifika beyond saa 4. Hakuna, alikuwa anasemanga pia hakuna kuenda kwa marafiki, hakuna marafiki kukuja. Hakuna, and alafu unajua pia madhe kiplani ni hii ghetto. So like hiyo yeye ako na freedom. Sasa huku umekuja umefungiwa. Kuko na hiyo pia. Alafu pia,
so ni kama madhe mnaishi ghetto, alafu your father is doing well off. Ako kwa estate. So ukifika pale it's a different world.
Manze na haezi ajaribu kubalance. Alafu now the fact that one of the other sibling, unfortunately the mom is not around also, and also my mom is not around, but juu yeye amekaa naye sana. Now yeye walikuwa wamesikizana kuliko venye mimi tunasikizana.
Yes.
So that was also a challenge because na sasa what hited me now hadi juzi yenye ilini hit ni now my bigger sibling ilifika mali akanormalize hizo words, but for me nilikuwa nimesema hizi words si poa.
Because you're coming from a loving environment. You know? Your mom might not have been well off as your dad, but she was safe.
Yeah, she was safe. And she understood me, she understood the generation. Lakini mzai ni wale pia wa kitambo, so hailewi.
And if you look at your childhood, in what ways would you say it affected you as a young boy growing into a man?
Ilini affect sana. Number one, iko point nilifika kwa maisha nilikuwa rebellious pia. Juu sasa wanisikia I'm trying to do this, hanielewi, I'm trying to start this, hanielewi. Alafu pia ilikuwa hakupei do na hataki utafute do. Unaona? Kwanza usome, lakini wewe uko na pia hiyo haja, mimi naweza fanya tu haso nini, lakini pia hataki. Juu ilifika mahali hadi nikanyang'anya ufunguo ya gate. Sasa rule ilikuwa wenda ukae hapo na mama muongeongee, wote kajua hapo alafu rudi kwa nyumba ukae. So that was my life at that point.
And have you ever gone through any form of therapy, counseling?
Naweza sema hapana, but ni Mungu tu alinisaidia because I was so persistent in prayer, persistent in going to church, hizo vitu. But ilini affect actually. Imagine this, ukiwa 3 years umeacha, mimi niliacha I know it's sensitive, I don't know how it will come, but mimi niliachanga kukojoa nikiwa 3 years, but nikiwa form 3 ilinirudia because mimi nilikuwa nimefika mahali mimi nataka tu nilale nikuwe na peace class hadi sikuwa nasoma mimi.
So you were in constant terror
Yes,
in that house.
Alafu pia migraines zilikuwa zishanianza kuniaffect, nilikuwa shinda pia clinic, unaona.
And you know, this is such a relevant conversation because the reality today in most of our, communities, if you look at the estates, whether it's in the city, whether it's in the rural area, is that the family breakdown is now a reality that we must confront. And just to hear the perspective around how it affects children. And I believe if you're a parent watching this, just listening to him sharing his story and being very vulnerable about how it affected him. And that's why we're having this conversation right now. I want to invite, I have a counselor with me, Julia. So Julia, because I want us to talk to parents, really. And I love that we're having this conversation because this show will probably go out during the school holidays. So if there's any parent watching this, because it's so, I think it's really hurting to imagine the terror. Because by the time it was affecting him emotionally, affecting him physically, and this is coming from the primary parent. And we could sit here and want to pretend, but again, in our society, this is something that we see. You know that neighbor who's constantly shouting at their children, beating their children, that couple who fight and the kids get caught in between. So how could you talk to, number one, any child currently going through this, and also any adult who can actually say, hey, that's triggering because I went through that?
Thank you so much for having me. Let me start by addressing the issues of trauma in a child. You see, the thing with trauma is that it gets stored in the body of a child. And that is why you find that when you grow up, your nervous system starts responding. And it is important even for parents to understand that some of the things that children, for example, if you have a kid and they're urinating in bed, or if you have a kid and maybe you're terming them rebellious, it's just the inner child inside them that has not yet healed trying to get your attention. Because in the Kenyan and African setup, we have parents who think the only basic needs that a kid needs is education, food,
shelter, clothing.
Exactly. And
if I'm doing that, I'm doing my job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to understand that it is important. Your presence in your child's life is very key because you help them in forming their identity. You help them in giving language to what they are going through. So it's important for parents to understand, connect with your kids. Because the African parents, to be honest, they are very quick to correct. You want to correct before you've connected with your kid. So even right now when they're at home, try and connect with your child. Try and understand the meaning behind that behavior instead of just jumping into conclusions. And to the adult that has already grown and they have gone through trauma, first of all, you need a safe space. Someone who can listen to you, because trauma is any experience that was never given language. But it is still inside there. So you need to get someone who can listen to you, number one, and be able to name what is this that is happening to me. Because we have so many people that are walking around, but the wounded child inside them is the one that is responding to life right now.
I want to introduce the concept of the nervous system. Mm-hmm. Because if you listen to what he was talking about, the migraines, in some cases we see children having ulcers. He was talking about wetting the bed. He's like, it was embarrassing, but that's how I was feeling. She's talked about, I was a teenager, but it affected me seeing somebody get killed in front of my eyes. So when we're talking about childhood trauma, what do parents need to understand about how you are the person who's setting the baseline for your child's nervous system?
Okay, maybe I'll say we are assuming this parent knows. And one of the things I like saying, if we have to solve childhood trauma or mental health issues, we have to understand, first of all, our parents didn't have a term. We are the people who are introducing childhood trauma to them. They don't have an idea.
Did not exist.
Yes. So now you're telling this parent again how they were beaten up, told it's disciplined, how they were called names in order, to man up, to grow up, to be 1, 2, 3 is wrong. That is not a concept they have ever had. For them, they know that's parenting. That's how you grow up. I mean, maybe most of them, because I don't like to assume they're non-healthy homes, because there are people who turned out okay.
Yes.
And very, very okay. And we actually say 50% of the people grew up okay.
And can we poll that right now with my audience? So y'all are looking very lovely. So I just want to do a small poll. Raise your hand if you can say that, hey, now that I'm listening to this conversation, I believe I have some form of childhood trauma. Raise your hand. Like, yes, I can genuinely say, because of where I grew up, how I grew up, I was affected. So if I was just to poll from this small sample I have here, that's almost 80%. And who can say that, hey, you guys are right. I grew up in a safe home. My childhood was lovely. My parents they tried their best. And I can say that I have very good memories. It was safe. Raise your hand as well. Hakuna mtu kwa hii audience?
Maybe I should do mine.
Yeah, because they're also safe homes. And I'm a parent myself, and I came across a quote recently, and it basically said, when you get home and your kid's instinct is to run towards you, you're doing something right. Because I grew up in the reverse of that. I can relate with his story. Like, I was those people growing up, when you hear your parent coming home, you quickly switch off the TV, you run out of the sitting room. In fact, you pretend you are sleeping. So what can parents learn?
Okay, so I'd like maybe to put it back there to the action part. So one, as a parent, if you're a parent, you need to look at how you were raised. Did you turn out okay, emotionally, mentally, and physically? Most cases, the answer is no. So if how you were raised was, do 1, 2, 3, and that didn't work on you, so don't expect it to work on your child. Then again, also note that if you think your child has a problem, if your child is rebellious, if your child is shutting down, most likely you're the problem. Because a child is meant to be nurtured, and I've used the word most likely. I didn't say you're the problem. A child is meant to be nurtured. So if a child is not doing what they're supposed to do, feeling safe, feeling okay, speaking out, most likely the environment has an issue. Could be at home, could be at school. So before we go to our kids with whatever reprimanding, punishment, or whatever we want to do, are we able to question ourselves first? If you're planting a seed and the tree is not growing right, you don't go to the tree, what's wrong with you? You sit back and ask yourself, is there water? Is there enough soil? Yeah.
It's not the branches.
Yes. That's how am I planting this? Did I do enough irrigation, whatever, fertilizer, etc.? So as parents, we need to pause back and ask ourselves, am I doing it right? Then also, because this is another human being with a different life, with a different lifestyle expectations, willpower, are you able to sit down and have this conversation? And maybe one of the things to say, sitting down with your child doesn't mean that you're losing your power, doesn't mean that you're giving much to your child. At times, it might help you parent better. Understand where they're coming from. And if that conversation doesn't work out, it doesn't have to seek a third party who could be a professional.
Right. I hope you're learning. This is one of those conversations that I strongly believe. And like I always tell you guys, take out that notebook, write the notes, listen. And even when it feels uncomfortable, keep listening, because then it means you showed up. You're doing something right. I always love hearing from you. Please go on the SMS line on your screen. Hit me up via my social media. Let me know. Is this something that perhaps you went through as a child? Is this something that perhaps now as a parent you're recognizing, oh my God, I'm the villain in my child's childhood? Because ultimately we want a better society. We want a safer society for our children. So our conversation around childhood trauma continues on this episode. Remember, I would love you to join the conversation. Please text me on the SMS line on your screen or hit me up via the social media handles on your screen. I'd love to hear from you. What's your experience on this particular topic? But right now, I want to find out from my audience here in studio, what has been their experience with childhood trauma? So I want to find out from you. Did you go through anything that you would term as traumatic in your childhood, and how did it affect you? Let's start with you.
Kwa majina naitwa Winnie. So mi familia yenye nilireiziwa tulikuwa tu tunaishi poa until saa kazi ya mzai kakatika. Hapo saa ndio challenges zikaanza. Saa mko kwa nyumba, Landia anataka rent, mko shule. Saa mamangu wako zile za watoto wako kwa mlango na wewe ni mwanaume, si wewe ndio unafaa provide. Saa unafaa utoke uende utafute, unataka majirani waseme aje. Hivyo sasa ikaendelea ni ile sasa hakuna pesa, hakuna job, na saa inabidi mzae angoje juu yeye ndo anatuprovidea, na unapata saa hizo madhe hataki kusikia na hataki kungoja. Unapata sasa hapo ndio vita inaanza sasa. Wanapigana, mko hapo nyinyi wadogo, wapigane the whole night. Asubuhi unafaa uamke uende shule. Saa zingine unapata hadi hiyo kupigana, wanapigana, uko na homework unafaa ufanye, hakuna vile utaandika. Ukiamka asubuhi uende shule, umeambia teacher leo kulienda hivi, kesho umwambie kulienda hivi, kesho kutwa atakwambia pia umezidi. Unaona sasa? Sasa inabidi unanyamazia, juu hakuna mtu utaambia. Alafu unapata sasa umereiziwa ghetto. Ghetto ni ile place yenye unatoka nje kuita jirani akuje astopishe vita. Anakuambia hivyo ndo kunaendanga.
And how did it affect you now that you're grown up? If you look back, how did growing up in that unsafe environment affect who you are today?
Ilini affect juu. Yani unapata hata mimi niligo through the same thing. Nilienda kuolewa sasa at a very young age. Juu home sasa unapata wote wako na disagreement, hakuna mtu anataka kuprovide. Madhe akitoka amejaa maende, dad ndio pia anaenda. Unataka food, unataka personal things zako, nani ataprovide hizo vitu? Saa zingine unapata saa madhe ndio huyo akaingilia sherehe, ni kulewa. Akikuja umwambie mama hata tujakula, ati amjakula mnaniongojea, pia nyitokeni muende mtafute. Sasa si pia unatoka uende utafute vile madhe amesema, juu utakaa hapo uko njaa na bado uko na siblings wengine wadogo wanakuangalia wewe time madhe ameenda. Sasa hapo ndo unapata unaingilia hata vitu haziko hata kwa mind yako, vitu hata uko umefikiria kama utaifanya.
Thank you. Next.
Kwa majina naitwa Heisi Kinya. Kwangu trauma yangu ilianza nimelelewa kwa familia rich family. Then all of a sudden ndio hiyo tusha drop. So my mom alikuwa anajuana with my aunt. Then so tukatoka from where we were to Dandora. And kila mtu vile unajua tu Dandora ni pali hadi ukienda kutafuta kazi unaambiwa kwa wakora. So I was 13. So una imagine sasa ulikuwa unapelekwa na gari with your dad unaenda shule. So hapa from a private school to a public school una trek. Unapitia kwa vichochoro, unaruka sewage from sewage. Hadi unaweza anguka kwa hiyo sewage na bado mama yako yuko, yeye ameenda na labda mama mwingine kutafuta kibarua ya kufua. Unaingia shule ni wale wenye wamezoea, maybe labda umepakiwa snack na your parents, umekutana na watoto wa ghetto hapo, wakuharass wachukue snack, wakwambie wewe mtoto wa kibabi, unafanya nini huku, usiende shule. Yani inakuingia hadi unajiweka kwa kona ya class.
So it's a culture shock.
Yeah,
it's emotional, it's mental,
kila kitu.
Yani everything that could be affected
hapo
was affected.
Yani iko hapo. Plus palikuwa nasomea ni shule, then next ni boma. So una imagine hiyo harufu hiyo ya takataka it's coming na ujazoea. So unapata ina affect, plus the meals nile yenye mko wengi shule, so you have to struggle upate hiyo meal. Ukikataa kupata shida yako, utaenda home ukiwa na njaa. Na ukienda home njaa, maybe your mama hajakuja na nile kubahatisha. Pale ameenda anaweza kosa. So nile yenye umekosa shule, ukikuja home pia mama amekosa, so unalala hivyo. Na the moment sasa unapata hiyo vile mna struggle, hadi your mom pia anaanza kuturn kukuwa a toxic parent. Unaona? So unapata hadi ukitaka kumuongelesha anakuambia niko na stress, acha kunikula kichwa. So unashindwa utaenda kwa nani? So unaenda kwa marafiki. Na marafiki wenye unaenda from a ghetto area ni wale wenye kuambia si mama yako anekanga pesa mahali. So unapata una change slowly by slowly. Uwezi ongelesha mom because your mom is not there. Na akikuja anakuja na kuambia amechoka. So wewe tu una learn the hard way. Una just hivyo. So unapata unaingia kwa uwizi, unaingia kwa bad girls, unaingia kwa smoking, unajua sherehe. Hapo sasa ndio hadi unapata ile early pregnancy. Juu mama yako hayuko kukuambia.
So you are a teen mom as well?
Yeah, I'm a teen mom.
You got pregnant at what age?
At 18.
At 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unapata
because you are searching for something love in all the wrong places.
Love kila mahali. Ukienda hapa unaintroduce kwa drugs, ukienda hapa unaona enyewe imekuaffect, ni also unajiokoa kiwewe.
And today are you in a better place?
Yeah.
Like, have you done any therapy, counseling?
Dandora there is sessions, kuna MSF, maybe Shofco, hizo programs ziko. So unapata they go around taking like teenage moms, other girls, hivyo men, hivyo muna kansoliwa, muna trainiwa into some useful skills. Munaingia hapo, muna kama when bado uko shule, they have libraries, games, hivyo unaenda tu hapo unakuwa busy, like una avoid hizo bad companies. Na kama wewe ni mom pia unafundishwa like making beads, kusonga.
At least kitu inaweza kukusaidia.
Yeah, at least utoke kwa hiyo environment. Yes. Juu unapata kama utaingia, unapata vijana wanaingia kwa kuiba. That's why unaona hadi kuna mob, kuna kila kitu. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear from guys. We've had two ladies. Let's hear from guys.
Thank you for the opportunity. I go by the name Brahma Odiwuro Dhiambo. Just to give a brief of my life history. Actually to me naweza sema maisha yangu actually ilikuwa complicated. To the extent sahi nikijaribu reflect back, najaribu kujiuliza nilikuwa naishi maisha gani. Juu you can imagine being a school dropout at the age of 8. Not that hauna wazazi wako hapo, lakini kenye inachangia most is that my father was very much addictive to alcohol. Alikuwa ameingia kwa hiyo pombe sana. So wakati wowote ni mlevi, amekuwa mlevi, that cruelty followed. And my mother, with the children, tulikuwa the victim of his brutality. So nikiwa class 2 at the age of 8, I was witnessing all this. So hii kitu ilinisumbua to the extent ukiona your mama anapigwa ukiona. So unajaribu kujiuliza what's going on. So my dad alikuwa ni mtu akiingia tu kwa boma hivi hawezi ngoja ungetoroka. Because I remember one day alikuja tu akishalewa, and by that time tulikuwa tumekaa tu nje kwa compound together with his mom, my grandmother. And the moment aliingia tu kwa boma, alianza tu kuflog kila mtu.
Including mama yake?
Including mama yake. Haku spare anyone.
Na alikuwa amelewa?
Alikuwa mlevi.
So class 2 you were like around 8 years, 9 years?
I was 8 years.
So hauendi shule, unaanza
kusurvive sasa? Nimeanza kusurvive kivyangu. It took the whole year, so I had to report back the following year.
Na hiyo mwaka ukiwa sasa hauendi shuleni, kazi gani ulikuwa unafanya kusaidia pale nyumbani?
Actually si kusaidia nyumbani, ni kujisaidia mimi. So
ulikuwa unaenda unafanya kibarua?
Ufanya kibarua hivi ndogo at the age of 8, you can just figure out the size. Unaenda kwa shamba ya mtu kulima. For you to get ka 50 bob, then upige makaa, yani to make that charcoal, so that unaweza nunua hata kenye unavaa kwa mguu.
Na ukiangalia hivi leo, how has it affected you now that you're a grown up and you look at who you are? How would you say that experience has affected you?
Okay, it has affected me very much. Growing up without both parental care, you understand? Knowing that my dad is there, but in another point, he's absent. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Jefferson Mutinda, and my question goes to the counseling experts. So do you believe like trauma is something that someone can overcome by themselves, or they have to talk to someone to overcome it? Because now, according to some stories, some people fear talking to people. And if they fear, what are some of the simple steps that they can take to initiate fighting the trauma or start healing?
Okay, I'm going to try and answer it in two ways. One, there are people who know they're traumatized and people who don't know they're traumatized until somebody else says, you don't seem okay. I believe, I like giving stories a lot. I believe there's a meal you cook a certain way in your place, then you find out somebody else cooking it differently and you're wondering, how do you even eat this? So that is, at times you think you're okay, or whatever you think is trauma, at times could not be trauma. So that is when somebody else needs to tell you it's trauma. Then also, I believe at times you've gone to the doctor and you say they had a stomach ache. Then you're told, no, it's your head that is aching because now that affected your stomach. The same way that happens to trauma. At times, one, you can self-diagnose. At times, you can't unpack alone. Yes, you could do some work on yourself, but in order for you to go down from the root cause and get the best solution, you might need somebody else to help you with that. Because then again, we need to see mental health as an illness. We can't ask if my leg is aching or if I broke my leg, can I, because I don't feel like going to the doctor, can I stitch it up myself? We need first of all to accept that mental health is a disease and these are illnesses and it has a long-term impact, so that now we can agree to find help.
So I want to talk to the people at home in case this is something that you're struggling with and you're wondering, where do I seek help? I want to believe that, as you've had, there are resources within public health facilities where there are counselors, social workers that you can actually reach out to. And on top of that, I believe because now we're in a digital world, you could be in Kisumu and you're jumping online for a Zoom session, an online meeting where you have people who go out of their way to offer free counseling sessions. And if you feel like you need help with this, I want to challenge you right now. Jump on my social media right now, drop a DM. Just say therapy, say coaching, will assist you and link you up with all the necessary resources that you need to help you through whatever it is that you're struggling with currently in your life. But back to childhood trauma. And as we are talking, a lot of the stories we are hearing on this show, we are hearing about dysfunctional homes, conflict, unpredictability, children taking on adult responsibilities too early, physical abuse, emotional abuse. We are hearing about constant criticism or, lack of affirmation in the home. But at the same time, the reality is that when parents are creating these environments for their children, you have to audit yourself as a parent. What are you going through? Do not dump on the child, because now what you're ending up doing is creating a vicious cycle that because it was done to you, knowingly or unknowingly, you find yourself also doing it to your child. And back to the question that was asked, because when he was talking about there are people who seek therapy and there are people who don't. But when you don't seek therapy, it means that you have the mental strength. And perhaps I want to bring that to you, the people who don't seek therapy, because I want to believe that therapy is good, yes, but people have healed themselves. But what's that healing journey looking like? What's that process between this is what I went through, I've acknowledged it, I have reconciled that it happened to me, I have, accepted, and now I have worked my way and I'm at a healed place, I'm at a healed space. I can talk about it from a place of empowerment.
Thank you so much. Now, on mental strength, it is indeed true that there are people, because trauma can either shape you, or it can make you into something else, either a good person or a bad person. And there are people who they've gone through trauma and it has made them to develop that strength and that resilience of becoming someone different. And I really don't want to also dive away from the point of also having someone else, because truth is, by your own, it can be that you have learned to adapt to it. So maybe even the language that you're giving to your process is necessarily not the right language, because once you've gone through it and you think I have the mental strength, it's really important that you incorporate someone else in this journey of healing.
So, and I love that you brought out that point,
Yeah.
because when you're talking about trauma responses,
Yes.
there is hyper-independence.
Yes.
There is people-pleasing.
Yes.
There is over-repair, over-explaining.
Yes.
There is the fear of rejection. and the general avoidance of help because I've got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's very true because you see, for you, you think this is just me, this is my personality. But truth is, it's just a mini person that was created from the trauma that you went through. And that is why we have people like, let me give an example of people pleasing. You just, maybe you are abandoned, you never received love, because trauma is not just maybe going through rape or watching a murder. It is also not receiving love or validation. So it's important when you can get someone who can give language to what you went through, so that you don't now become someone else in the name of I have healed, because healing needs someone else also.
So let's talk about how trauma shows up in relationships. Because a lot of the times, tunasemaga Waafrika, yani tumepitia, tunasemaga it's a hard knock. It's a hard knock life. Yani umekipitia. We've created a culture that celebrates hardship. Yeah? Like if we are comparing stories, my stories is, unafikira umepitia, bro, mi acha nikwambie, me I've been through some things. So there's that, and I think it's a collective way of coping when we can actually just, it's your way of trying to not crumble. So you end up now putting it on a pedestal that this is what I went through. But now when it comes to adulting, because in adulting, these patterns show up. It's almost like when you're in jail and then you've been released, but you're still behaving the way you are behaving ukiwa pale gerezani. So in relationships, how does it show up in terms of things like fear of intimacy? People who can't be vulnerable. Yeah, your partner loves you, but they can't be vulnerable because of where they came from. So as a result, we are seeing a breakdown in marriages. Overgiving. Now I feel like because I was rejected as a child, I'm the person who I'll always overgive. I will be the doormat, I will be the duster, everyone will use me because I feel like that's how I get love. So when we're talking about relationships and childhood trauma, how do you unpack it? How do you make sure nikiingia kwa relationship naacha ile trauma pale, ama how do I share it with my partner also?
It's very important. I love the example that we are using because personally I was a victim of rape and molestation growing up, and it was the kind enye unaambiwa we don't say this because this society can't accommodate that. So as a grown up, it has really affected me in my relationship because you get a very good human being, a good son of Abraham, a son of God, and they're loving you the right way. But when now it comes to intimacy, and let's not even go the deep way, something kidogo tu kama them even giving you a hug. But because I was raped as a young child and I didn't have someone to help me give language to what I went through, when they hug me, because when I was a kid, what trauma does, it makes your brain protect you. So as an adult, when they're hugging me, my mind is not able to say this is a safe person, this is a safe space. It goes back to the abuser. So what do? I shut you off. I'm like in this relationship, kuna watu wako hivyo, si ndio? Hakuna kuhug, hakuna kukiss, and you think, what am I getting myself into? But truth is, it's because the inner child in them never processed it. And that is why I'm saying counseling is important, because for me, after a number of failed relationships, I came to realize, boy child sio shida, because we have ladies, sorry to say, that are saying, all men are dogs, those statements. And you agree. Truth is, you really need to understand, am I the wounded one? You're not the problem, but are you wounded? And for me, it is therapy that gave me language, and also becoming aware. Self-awareness is very important. So for someone who has gone through trauma, you need to be very much aware. Ask yourself, could this be a response from my inner child that is wounded that I'm projecting into this relationship? Because a number of so many marriages are broken because we have a man, a husband and a wife who has an inner child, a small boy inside, a small woman inside. So you can imagine these two meeting to try and bring up a family.
So your traumas are now
traumas in a meet. Yeah, that's like, ni bomb hapa. And then you get kids and it now becomes transgenerational trauma because you pass it down to your kids. So awareness is very important, and giving language.
And I love that when you talk about giving language, because the one thing that we must own, just because we don't have the language for it, does not mean it doesn't exist. And that's the thing we must fix in our culture. I love that we're having such conversations in spaces like this, because we hope to inspire you, we hope to help you through your healing, and also we hope to empower you. So we've talked about how trauma shows up in relationships. What about now the self? self-perception. Mimi kama Tamima, as an example, if I grew up in a home where my parent was constantly criticizing me, you're worthless, you're stupid, and these things are happening. When in jinga, unaelewa? Yeah, your parent who should be your biggest cheerleader is actually your worst nightmare. How does this affect your self-worth? How does it affect how you value yourself? How does it affect now when you're out here in the world? Because everyone kept saying, I ended up in the wrong company because now I'm looking for love. But I'm looking for love in all the wrong places because I don't even know what this love looks like.
I'll say it's important that you start unlearning some of these things, and learning some of those things that you learned and you thought that is the way family should be, and learning the way of correction, especially if you were a kid and your parents were those soldiers and you grew up knowing this is how it is done. So you have to learn to be very patient with yourself because this is a healing process. The problem is we have people that want to rush it out and you want to become the best. Just understand that, imagine if you are 20 something or 30 something right now, you have your entire childhood that was traumatized. So it's not a one day thing. So patience and a lot of just patience and acknowledging this is what I went through. I'm not ashamed and there is hope and I can find help. So be patient with yourself. And like you've said, ask for help from outside.
And can we talk about also another element of childhood trauma? Because a lot of the times when you're a child, things are happening to you. You have very little control. So now I've grown up. I've reconciled that this happened to me. You know, I was abused physically, in some cases, sexually. But at the same time, these people who did these things to me, they are still extensions of my life. They are my parent. They are my sibling. They are my uncle. So how do I create boundaries? Yeah? Because we come from cultures that children have to persevere, give your parent grace. But imagine someone who was, and again, thank you for sharing in your case, maybe you were sexually abused, but you still have to see your abuser in the context of he's still my family. How do you deal with that one?
I'd say it's not very easy. I won't lie, it's not easy because you see them and you're like, God, why can't you strangle them right now? Or pigwe tu na lori. It's because you're human and it's easy to want to wish them bad things like that. But let me use my example. For me, having that I'm seeing them, and then the people who told me keep quiet, they're also around, and you never choose you can't choose your family. These are the people God gave you. You start with forgiveness and understanding that they didn't know better. So whether they knew or not, now, first of all, forgive them and forgive yourself, and just learning to understand that life has to continue, to be honest. It has to be continue. So choose yourself as well, because even if they're family members, the boundaries you're talking about, understand there's a way I can see this far. With you, we can't. So you forgive, you choose yourself, and you put healthy boundaries. Know how far is far, even with these relatives. Yes.
So there you've had it. You've talked about boundaries, self-regulation, emotional regulation, having safe relationships. Because when you're a child, a lot of the times things were out of your control. But now as an adult, you have the power. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your life. And sometimes it starts by having very honest conversations like the one that we are having here today. I really do hope that this episode has been enlightening, empowering, and I do apologize if it has been triggering, but remember, this is a teaching platform. We're here to learn. And also, I want to invite you, please join our Speak Life community on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. You'll find information around how you can join some sessions that we have online where you can actually just for free join a Zoom call, join a Google Meet call. I'll have wonderful counselors like the ones I have on the show here today, and we can go deeper into some of these topics. I hope through this show you're learning you're not too much, you're not too broken, you're not too far gone. You're someone who adapted to survive what you went through. But survival is not where your story ends. Healing is possible. Peace is possible. Healthy love is possible. And it begins with awareness and the courage to do the work. Thank you for tuning in to Speak Life. Until next time, I am Tamima.